Welcome back to the Circuit Revival, where today we're going to take a look at another iron. This is the last product in the sort of job lot of home appliances that I got, and this one I believe is a no power. So there is a light just here which I presume turns on when this is on, so we'll try just by plugging it in and see what it does, just to verify that it is indeed a no power. Okay, so that's plugged in. We can see there's no light. If we turn the thermostat up, we still have nothing. Change between the settings. So absolutely nothing happening there whatsoever. So we'll just get this unplugged. We'll check the obvious things first, which is the fuse. So just get this out. So there's our fuse. I don't know what all this dust is that's coming out of it, but that doesn't seem good to start off with. But let's just bring up these two. We can get our meter on the screen. Okay, so here is our meter. You can just see just up here. So that we'll hear a beep if this is right, and you'll see it come through. So what we expect to see through this fuse is continuity, which we've got. So the fuse is not the problem. So it'll be something either in the cable to the iron or something in the iron itself. Now it's got the kind of cool sort of like strain relief on the cable here, so I'm wondering whether there's just an issue between the plug and the base. So we just need to try and work out how to get into this. I'll just get this fuse back in for now. Okay, so there's two sort of like star sockets on the base here, so let's start with those. So they're obviously sort of like somewhat security bits, being sort of like star sockets, so that your average person can't just tear their way into this. Okay, that's pretty good actually, and that just lets you in sort of immediately. So we can see into the base here now. Can see a fair amount. That's amazing, really. So there is the LED there. So what we can do to check, just to make sure whether we're not missing anything, is I think if we put our meter into diode mode, we should be able to see if we can just get the LED to illuminate on its own. Then that way we know that it's not that the LED is faulty and it is actually working or not. So let me try and see if I can get this. Okay, so I'm on the LED, you can't quite see in there, but even then I'm not getting anything on it. So either I've misunderstood something with this LED, or the LED itself might actually still be blown. Now, I did try earlier just holding the iron with it turned on and it didn't heat up. So I don't think it's just an LED issue, but it looks like the LED might be faulty as well. But let's take a look in here. So we can see our plug goes to a bunch of terminals just in here. So the first thing we can do is check if we've got continuity between the end of the plug and the actual product here itself. So if we go on one of these pins and we'll just check across these. So that one connects. We'll try the other side. Okay, so it looks like it is an issue between the plug and the iron, because if I go on this pin here and then the orange wire in here, I've got this, so you can see there's an orange wire, there's a green wire, and then a blue wire. If I then go to the green wire and we go across all three pins on the plug, we get nothing. Then we go on the blue wire, we go across these. So that's there. That's strange. So the left side here connects to both sides of that, but the right side, this doesn't connect to either. Now the difficulty I've got with this wire is there is a bunch of sort of frays and catches in this, so there's every chance. I think I see our issue here. So there's a bunch of frays and catches in this here, and I've just looked into the cable and we can see there is some damage there. Now that's not the only one. Actually, it looks like it's very clear now. If I'd undone this elastic band, I think we would have seen quite clearly where the issue was. If we undo all of this, we can see clearly someone has just cut straight through all of these wires. So I reckon if we get these wires connected together, we'll probably be all right. So this isn't, I don't think it will be sort of like a lasting fix. I don't think it's really safe. But what we'll do is we'll solder these wires together and see whether it works and see whether it's just the one break or whether there's multiple in this. So to start with, I'll just put this base back in place now that we know that the issue is very unlikely to be in the actual device itself, but just in the wiring here. So we'll just get our screws back in. If anyone knows what all of this sort of like dust is that's come out of it, is it just sort of sediment that's built up, or does this actually have something in it? Because it is now all over my desk. So we'll just inspect this wire as we go along. So there's a nick in it there, but it doesn't look it's broken the wiring. Some here, again, same thing, just looks like it's the braided outside that sort of struggled there. And then you can see sort of the main impact area looks like it was here. So I think what we'll do is it's going to end up with a bit of a gap in there, but because there's sort of a break here, what I'll probably end up doing is if I just cut the cable on either side of that section and just cut that whole section out, and we'll just see if we can get this back to life. What we can do then is let's start just by cutting the bit that's clearly already broken. Okay, there we go. A pair of scissors got through that section there. And then we'll do the same on this side. Okay, let's see if we can peel back some of this sort of braided cable a bit then and expose the wires. So the problem with this, I think, as soon as you sort of like start to undo these kind of things, they just want to continue to undo. So I think you end up having sort of have to like use a lighter or something on them just to burn the end so they don't keep going. But there's our 3 wires there. Do the same on this side. There's our 3 wires there. So what we'll do then is I'll just get some heat shrink. Okay, so I've got a bit of heat shrink on the end that will cover up the rest of it, and then I've got 3 more, which they might be a bit big, but they should be all right, which we'll use to attach the 2 ends together. So if we just get the soldering iron heating up, and then we'll just strip back some of these cables here. So we'll just strip back the ends of this. There's that one. There's that one. And that one, we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, our soldering iron is up to temperature, so we'll just get some solder and we'll just flood the ends of these just to tin them all. Okay, there's one. What I can do is try and get this holder just to hold this in place to make it a bit easier so it's not all moving all over the place. There we go. Okay, there's one side done. We'll just put the plug side in here as well. Okay, that's all the wires tinned up. Let's see if we can get this to line up a bit nicely next to each other so we can then just attach the two. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. If we just get this lined up. So we'll just match the two colours together. Okay, I think I'm just going to try and add a bit more solder to that because I don't think it's quite strong enough. Okay, we'll get the next one. So we'll do the yellow and blue one. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, they're all together. So what we'll do is we'll just pull our heat shrink over each of the connections, and then I'll use my hot air just on a really low heat just to shrink those down. So we'll just shrink these all. And then we'll cover it up with the big one that we attached. Okay, there we go, so that's covered. So let's just shrink that one down so it's nice and tight as well. And there we go, that's nice and tight on there, and all that heat shrink will stop anything from connecting. So let's see whether this turns on now. Okay, we're plugged in and hopefully you can see that. There we have our heating LED so that it's working, and I can always see some steam and feel some heat coming off the front of this. So we'll just get this unplugged. So there we have it, quite a nice easy one, just someone to cut through the cable. Now it's not the prettiest thing, but for just sort of home use that should be absolutely fine. As with most things, please don't copy what I do, it could be dangerous, it might not be the right way to do it, but either way that gives us one more fix. So we can then make this 16 to 8. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.